people coming up to you and telling you that you can be cured, you can change. It feels like they're telling you that they know you better than you know yourself. And where's the respect in that?
I identify as lesbian.
I identify as gay.
Pansexual or bisexual.
I identify as a trans man.
I identify as queer.
Asexual.
I like girls, and I think that they're cute. And I've been dating my girlfriend for almost 7.5 years, so honey, if you're watching this, hello.
So by asexual, it means that I do not experience any sexual attraction. It is not the same as celibacy or the choice to abstain from sex.
Pansexual means that I'm not restricted to the gender, whether you are male, female, non-binary, trans. For me, it's not relevant.
I've had one boyfriend, currently single. But yeah, I like men.
For me, I was assigned female at birth, but decided to transition roughly 4 years ago now. I'm on testosterone and plan to have surgery in the future.
Labels aren't a thing for me, and I think that society is just too small to be fit into boxes. So queer is a broad label that I feel like is the bolder choice.
Singaporean society generally accepts me for who I am.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know.
I've been fighting against a lot of authorities about how I should behave, how I should act. I mean, when I was in secondary school, a school counselor outed me to other students. One of my teachers told my mom that your son should change his behavior because this kind of behavior is stigmatized. At the end of the day, I constantly feel like I'm fighting to just do what I want to do.
I don't think Singapore's society knows enough about asexuality, and not a lot of people talk about it. So I would say most of Singapore's society does not know what asexuality is.
Again, with bi-erasure, I have straight passing privilege, so people don't really look at me as this very gay person because I'm not actively holding someone's hand. And it's weird because it helps you, but it's also erasing you.
I was unwittingly on a date. I didn't know it was a date, but like I told him I was asexual, like when he basically asked me out. So he said, but at least you're not lesbian.
Oh my god.
So I can change you. So he told me I can change you. Then I'm like,
It really just boils down to respect for someone's personal decision. I think people coming up to you and telling you that you can be cured, you can change, I think it feels like they're telling you that they know you better than you know yourself.
Exactly.
And where's the respect in that?
I think 377A is
Pointless.
Trash.
Perpetuating injustice.
Draconian as hell.
Ridiculous.
I think it's hateful, disrespectful, dehumanizing, and above all, useless as a law.
They said they weren't going to enforce it, but it's there, right? How would they have enforced it anyway? Would they just have like gone, oh, we see you there, you're doing the do, and you're doing the do, and you are both men, and you are doing it in the you-know-where. So we're gonna arrest you now, come with us.
If it's in a law and it's not enforced, you should take it out because it undermines the law. It is not just for people who love each other to have to face a criminal offense.
Definitely when they put that law, like when they keep this law, it's not about functionality, it's about sending a message. But what are you sending a message that gay people, men who have sex with men, are not equal citizens?
Like what? You want to talk about purity of family, sanctity of a family unit? Well, maybe include things that don't necessarily fit in the family nucleus of a mom, a dad, and kids, because not everyone has that. There's single parents, there's people with extended families, and that's a family. Are you saying that that's not as legitimate a family as mom, dad, and kids?
Telling people that they are not a traditional family and thus they are not, they're not so-called perfect, it's a slap in the face to anybody who has been rejected by the so-called perfect family. This so-called family that was supposed to protect you, that is the perfect family, it's the stronghold of society, it does not love you. And you try and find love wherever you can, but the law tells you that it's not valid.
I'm more concerned about how 377A impacts education, because then you can't even move forward. You have that law in place that basically tells you one segment of society isn't human, doesn't deserve respect, doesn't deserve equal, recognition, and because of that, we aren't able to even progress as a society. If you're much more about, let's say, letting the citizens decide, how will you let the citizens decide in an informed manner?
Did you know that 2 cartoons on Netflix are rated M18?
She-Ra.
She-Ra and the Dragon Prince, because
Yeah.
incidentally there are gay parents in there, and in one of those shows the gay parents die together for their country.
It's a problem when you regard the LGBT community as a whole as something that's adult and sexual, because then you already have this very perverse idea of what sexuality or love and identity is, and you are relegating it to strictly something that is, has to be rated, has to be forbidden, has to be regulated.
I have been denied opportunities because of my identity.
Yes.
No.
Because I had not gone for bottom surgery, I cannot change my gender marker on my IC, so that kind of makes it a bit risky when applying for jobs, because there was one time I actually had to give in my IC scan and everything, and they're like, oh, but you're a guy on the phone, then how come this says F? And I had to explain to them. And immediately there was like, this change of tone, like, oh, I see, okay, we'll call you back, and they never did.
When I was in school, I tried running for a student leadership role. And the teacher just straight up told me, like, we can't have someone like you representing a leader. And I was in a boys' school, so they just didn't like that. They didn't like the idea of someone who was not what they thought was a so-called gentleman in their eyes. Deep down inside, I knew that I was proud to be who I was, but there were these other voices telling me that, no, you shouldn't be proud of it. Nobody should look up to you. Nobody should be like you.
If they do know I'm asexual, I really think that they'll just think that it's equivalent to me just not having sex and being celibate, and like, oh, I'm like a good girl, a good virgin girl, and then like, oh, that plays into like what they think is a good lady.
I think it's also important to note that queer people are really good for making opportunities for ourselves, and I think I'm really proud of our community for doing that, where we create safe spaces and places where we can empower each other and do more for each other. So in that sense, it's kind of a balanced thing. Yeah.
We don't have any explicit policy discriminations, but sometimes the most harmful kind of discrimination is the discrimination that you don't see, that you don't talk about, because you don't understand these people's struggles.
If you don't give us a chance to explain without it being labeled as like adult or even inherently sexual, which we are not, BT dubs, then how are we going to get any sort of common ground, any acceptance?
Are straight allies relevant to the LGBTQ plus community?
Yes. If it's just us talking, it feels a little bit like...
Echo chamber?
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you, echo chamber, that's right. And it's always good to have people who are not of the community to come and back us up as well.
I wish everyone who is straight is a straight ally. Yeah, that's the goal.
These are the people who will stand up and help you, fight for you. Because you alone, you may not be as powerful as if you were bonded together.
It's like the chopstick comparison, lah. One chopstick can break. You put a lot of chopsticks together, you cannot break.
So I think without straight allies, we wouldn't even be making this video today, right? And that's why we are able to get our message across the board, because you're using a privilege for good. You're using the voice that you have, the visibility that you have for good. It's really about empowering people to be allies in the right way, because you can put on a pin, you can, put on a Facebook caption or whatever it is, but it comes down to the actions and what you are really willing to do for us.
It is not about one community triumphing over another. It is how can we all move together upwards and forwards as people, as human beings.
Do you think Singapore is moving toward the right direction when it comes to LGBTQ plus issues?
Yes.
Yes. No.
No.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, I do appreciate that more of us are talking about it now, and like more of us are becoming more woke, but it's not enough. I'm still hearing stuff like, hey, that's pretty gay, like when somebody just does something.
When you say
I don't
that's
know.
so gay, do you know what you say? I say yes to the question because I think that in general, if you like plot a point A where we're at and point B where we need to be at, it's kind of like we are going like that. Like, sure, there's a longer route, but if you talk about 30 years ago, yes, we've made progress. Nowadays, we have more straight people speaking up for us. I think that's great. You know, people with families, people with children, certain ambassadors saying like, I have children, I'm not afraid to be an ambassador.
There's definitely, yes, more discussion in media, in the public sphere and everything. Like, there's more visibility, but with more visibility comes more pushback from the more conservative side of the country. A lot of Singaporeans are very apolitical or just politically averse as well. You definitely need to change policies and everything if we want to get ahead as a community, as a country, if you want to progress as a whole.
There's someone who's been in the advocacy scene for quite a few years now. I can see so much change being pushed for, but no one meeting it. So the larger population is comfortable in this like tolerance but not really acceptance kind of stage, and that just means we're not doing enough. We have so much more to go, and if we think that we're doing enough, it's complacent.
Actually, when we fight, we're not fighting for today, we are fighting for tomorrow. Think about the struggles that you faced when you were a child, and make sure that no child has to ever go through that again.
Yeah, don't give up.
Yeah, don't give up. That's right.
Thank you for watching this video.
Let us know what you think of the discussion in the comments below.
And if you'd like to see more LGBTQ+ content on this channel, do let us know.
And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Bye!